Hello, hello, hello. I am live on YouTube and I'm also live on Instagram. So, hi, my Instagram family. I missed you all. It's been so long. Please invite someone to join us. It's going to be super duper amazing. Okay, so let's mute a few of the devices that are okay. I think we're good. We're set up on um Zoom, we're set up on um I have to minimize and take off some of the internet because if I don't do that, everything will come crashing down. So I'm taking away some internet stuff. All right. All right, so we are live. Invite a friend to join. It's going to be one phenomenal um, afternoon. I started this morning. I went live this morning and I didn't have enough time to finish my live. So I have come to finish my live. Is that okay? So please invite a friend. I've come to finish my live. All right. I am super duper excited to be on live both. Hi. I'm also on Instagram, guys, and that's one super duper exciting move. So we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, everywhere you want to invite somebody, you are welcome to do so. All right. So let me go ahead and finish. For those of you that are just joining, I'm going to just go right in. It's 25 lessons that I've learned in 25 years of living in America. And some of you will greatly benefit from this. Some of you, you may be in a place where you're like, well, this doesn't apply to me, but you can share it with someone who it could apply to. It could be your roommate, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, whether you live in America or abroad. These are things that you can bear in mind that can really change your lens and your perspective. So this morning we did 10 of them, 10 of them. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the remaining 15 items. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to set up all my gadgets. All right. The remaining 15 items is what I'm going to be talking about. All right. Call somebody to join. This is going to be fun. All right. All righty. Any messages I'm getting, it's not going to help me right now. So wait, I've tried to mute all of the 4 phones sitting here. So hopefully nobody calls. Okay, so let me review quickly the first 10 that I offered you. And then I'm going to be really, really quick so that we can do this under 1 hour. I haven't ate since this morning. Okay, y'all know I love food. Okay. So the first thing that I mentioned was that the first person you encounter when you come to America will make or break your journey, your experience, your life here. The first person you encounter. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you come and you meet people and maybe you intended to go stay with somebody else. Then you come and you end up staying with another person. Guys, this thing keeps falling. I'm sorry. You intended to stay with one person, then you ended up, I know people who got to the airport and then found somebody they can stay with. So they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. But nonetheless, they had to come. So they came. All right. So the first person you encounter makes or breaks your experience, because if you meet a person who is negative all around, that person is going to transfer that negativity on you. I mentioned this morning, America is a great nation. It doesn't matter, there is moral decay, and I've lived here long enough to see the, and the what's the word I'm looking for? The spectrum, how bad things have gotten over years. I was able to witness some of that. Okay, some of us lived through history, okay? And we saw some of the things that used to be in America that was not allowed, that are now allowed, et cetera, et cetera. It's a whole bunch of stuff, okay? So I'm going to share some of those things, but nonetheless, America is a great nation. You can't live in this country and continue to say, oh, America is bad, America is this, and be so negative. You cannot be negative, because this is where you eat. This is yours. This is your nation. So you have to speak life over your nation so that it can change. Although eventually we're going to be living in Africa somewhere. Okay, eventually. In fact, it was going to be within 5 years. A couple of years ago, we were preparing to move, like 2026, we would have been gone. But things have shifted a little bit, so the time has been extended. So I say that to say, even if you know you're leaving like tomorrow to go, you can't think to yourself, oh, I don't need this thing. The 2 days you're here until you leave, something can happen. Do you understand? So you must, feed the place where you stay. You must speak life over the nation, because you may go back to Africa, but your children will not go back. Not all the children want to go back. Do you understand? So we want to make sure that this nation that God has called, God's hand is on America, that you speak life over it. We don't have to dismiss and destroy the nation. America is great, okay? Regardless of what has happened. And so is Africa. Oh, I love Ghana, okay? So the first person you encounter. Let me share this quick story. I already did 1 through 10. I did. But since I'm summarizing, I'm going to try not to repeat the stories. I'm bringing new stories and new examples. So you just listen intently. And I hope and pray this blesses you. See, there was a young lady who came to stay with me, I want to say 3 years ago, 2021-ish. And I'm sharing her story. She may even watch this. You are loved. Just know that. I'm sharing her story because it's a story that really humbled me, and is a story that was an example, a good example to me. So if you're watching, don't, understand what I'm saying, okay? So I didn't know this young lady. She wasn't a friend, a family member, nothing. But a friend of mine called me who doesn't live around me, who said, hey, I have a cousin coming out and I want you to stay with the cousin. And I know that she'll be fine if she comes to you. And I was like, okay, well, let me talk to her, because I like to feel for people. So when I'm talking to you, I like to get a feel for you. So, I wanted to talk to the young lady, but they never contacted me. It was like 2 months. They didn't call me. They didn't text me, nothing. And then I waited patiently, because if they said they're bringing you someone, you go chasing. In fact, I did ask, when is she coming? I asked several times, and he said, oh, she will come. But I told her she must talk to you. I didn't hear from the young lady. I was there in my little corner, and my friend called and said, hey, guess what? The young lady is in America. I said, oh, is she? And he said, yes, Ruth. And I believe she needs help. And I said, but she should have called me, because I wanted to prepare the way so that at least when she comes, even if she's staying physically with me, because at the time I didn't know she was going to stay with me. And I mentioned it to my husband immediately, just in case. I said she might come and stay here, but I don't know. We're still praying to make sure. And that's the one thing I will tell you. Always, anybody you allow in your house, pray over it. Anybody, pray over it and make sure that the person you are allowing to stay with you is supposed to be with you. Sometimes out of emotions, we make decisions, and those decisions come to bite us in the behind. And because I've taken so many people in, I can tell you this from experience. The wrong person in your house can break you and demolish everything you ever built. Okay? So that's not a lesson, but you may probably add it to number 26. Okay? You can add it to number 26 if you like. It wasn't a lesson. I wasn't going to go there at all. But we're going to just mention it as a by the way. Pray over everything. So the young lady was already here, and not just in America. She was right here in Delaware where I lived, and she needed help. So I told my husband, hey, the young lady's here. I know it's last minute. What do we do? So now I have to rush and go pray again because I was praying. I didn't know who I was praying about. So there was no results, so to speak. So I went into prayer, and God speaks to me in the shower because that's the only place I don't multitask. Oh boy. So it was in the shower. I was, of course, quiet and meditating, whatever, while I was there. Like, because in the shower, you can't multitask. What are you doing? You're just standing there and taking a shower. So he caught me at the right time, and he said, if you had another place, that's what I heard. If you had another place. And I was like, so I came out, I told my husband, I said, this is what I heard. If I have another place, but what does that mean? But quickly it became clear that God was telling me, if you have another place, you can put her there. Do you understand? So maybe at the time we didn't have different houses, right? But now it's possible. So he said, if you have another place, then. So in other words, not that she's a bad person, not that it could be that for the circumstance, it will be better if you help at a distance. That's a real story too. Sometimes you have to help people at a distance. That's a lesson for another day. But I'm saying this for number one. The first person you encounter makes all the difference, right? So the young lady, I'm not going to say what happened. But because I heard the Lord and I told my husband and he was with me, he said, we have to set her up. So he said, you can take her shopping. Literally, he wanted me to take her like, you know how you take your kids shopping for back to school? Like, that's what he said. He said, take her shopping, do what you need to do. If she needs help with the deposit, give her a deposit, all of that. So whatever I ended up doing was what she allowed me to do. So long story short, something happened. She only stayed for a week. By the grace of God, she was ready to go because she found a place, actually. Within a few days of being in my house, she found a place. So I drove her to the place, carried everything we bought, and I mean, just pleasant young lady. So we went, I helped her settle her stuff, and she moved into her own apartment, which was the perfect situation because that's really, truly what God was saying. The young lady, something happened between my friend, the young lady, and everything. So something happened, and immediately I figured, let me pull myself away because there was a misunderstanding where my friend said something, the young lady said something, my friend said something, they said I said it, and I was like, you see, this the life I live. I speak what I can say in front of people. If I cannot repeat what I said, I will not talk about it behind you. And that's why I don't bother saying I'm going to say something behind people. Every time I'm talking, if I forget myself and say something behind someone, I have to be able to own up to it when you come and say, oh, I heard you said this. I have to be able to repeat what I said. If I can't repeat it, I will not say it. Are you understanding what I'm saying? If I can't repeat it, I will not say it behind you. Okay. So anyway, when that started, I didn't ask my friend, what did she say? There is one that says, number 24 says, be drama free. So I'm already giving you number 24. Be drama free. My last name was Mansu. Mansu is drama. It's conflict. It's fight. It's all those things. Guess what? Because my name had raised me, had taught me well, I don't like drama. So when she came, he said this, he said, when my friend came at me, I didn't clarify. You will come to find out. This is another lesson for another day. Whatever you heard about me, take it. Because if you come to me, I will not explain. I will not clarify. So a lot of people don't like coming to me for, oh, I heard, because I don't care. I don't want to clarify what you heard. If you heard it, take it. If you believe in me and trust me, you won't ask me to explain myself. Does that make sense? So the friend didn't tell me, and this young lady, just So I called her. I said, you left your jacket here. I want to mail the jacket to you. I'm not even going to drive it to you. I will mail it to you. So that way I don't meet you and start talking about something else that didn't happen. And she said, this is a total misunderstanding. I said, you're a lovely young lady. And truly, I just wanted to help you. I don't know you from Adam, but I really just wanted to help you. She came and I gave her all the things I know in the book. And that's the thing. You come to me, I will teach you. You may be mad. You can say, I didn't ask for your opinion, but I'll tell you. Why? I'm my sister's keeper. I'm my brother's keeper. I am your sister from somewhere you never met. I'm going to make sure you're okay. So I told her that this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to go ahead and send your stuff. And I sent it. And I didn't ask her, what did you say? I didn't ask my friend. We've been friends for many years. Somebody says one thing and you believe it, and now you are fighting me. No problem. Please keep it. And just like that, I removed myself small. The young lady called me last year. No, this year. Early this year. She called me. She said, Auntie Ruth, she called me Auntie Ruth. I just want to tell you something. I said, tell me. She said, everything you told me is exactly how it happened. And she said, I believe that the fact that I came to your house first before I went to school, that is why what happened to my friends didn't happen to me. What happened to her friends? Her friends couldn't go to the school. Her friends couldn't go. They got kicked out of school. That's why I don't want to get into what happened. They got kicked out of school. This young lady said to me, I was able, whatever happened, because you had already told me this is what will happen, I dodged the bullet. And I was able to, she went to school, she finished, and she said, guess what? I've now been hired and I'm working full-time. I'm shocked at the job that I got. She finished her master's and she got an amazing job. She's calling to say thank you because I honestly believe that if I hadn't stopped at your house, I'm not saying this to toot my own horn. I'm saying it to point to the fact that as much as there was a conflict that arose, I also am a very forgiving person. And everything is now fine with my friend and things are fine with this young lady. And I was so happy she called me to tell me that her life is good. She just wanted to let me know. And I said, thank you. This is what I was trying to make sure that you don't get yourself in trouble. Who you encounter will make or break you. If you encounter somebody who doesn't want you to become more successful than them, they will make sure, they will point you to jobs that you will make money. They will point you to jobs that you will, struggle. You will struggle. Listen, my husband has hired people at his job place that truly, if it wasn't that he hired them there, those people, it would have took them at least 10 years to get to that kind of salary. It would have taken them 10 years. Who you encounter matters. But this man didn't tell himself, oh, I don't want the person who just came from Ghana to be like me, to be on my level. He took him straight to the work and made sure, imagine you come from Ghana, you're making $70,000 straight from Ghana. Unless you are already making 70,000, then bravo. But you're coming from Ghana, maybe you're only making $1,000 a month, if that, right? Listen, I know people who make more than that in Ghana. The people are lit. There's so much money in Ghana. So I know it could be 70, it could be 100,000. But this particular person we're talking about was not. And he said, it doesn't matter. I want you to rise to that level faster. So what happens is you who have been through, you're supposed to set the level. You're not a gatekeeper. God doesn't send you places and levels for you to stand there and block the gates. Some of us, we get platforms, we get access, we get doors, we get opportunities, and we want to block people. That's a lesson. You're not there to block. God has given you the opportunity so you can pave the way for others to enter. So if you enter and I pave the way for you, you're not supposed to struggle because you're standing on the shoulder of a giant. So I will share my experience so that you cut the cost. Listen, my credit was so bad. It was 400 and something. Because when I came, my parents didn't know much about finances. They were very anointed. They were very amazing people. But some things are just not your cup of tea. You just don't know. And they didn't have anybody teaching them. So you can't fault them, right? So nobody knew about credit. All we knew was that credit is to be used. So that's a lesson. Build your credit in America. That's number 27. Build your credit in America because America doesn't function on cash. It doesn't function on cash. You have the money. They want to see that you are reliable through your credit. So when you mess up your credit, you're saying, I don't care about the system. In fact, it's here. 25 is learn the system of America. And credit is one of the systems of America. You must learn it. Okay. So I was reviewing 1 through 10. Look at this. Are we going to ever finish number 25? So the first person you encounter can make or break your journey. So the young lady, I'm sharing her story. You know, if she sees this anywhere, I'm not talking about you. I'm sharing your success story. Okay. But she called me back and I was so grateful that I played a role in her success story. And she said, my job is amazing. I'm doing well, but it's because of all the lessons I learned from you when I was there. That's number 1. Number 2, don't take people for granted. Taking someone for granted means it's a failure to give the appropriate, right? Giving the appropriate, the right regard or appreciation for someone. Failure to give the appropriate appreciation to someone. That is taking people for granted. How do you take people for granted? Yes, my parents brought me, but I did everything by myself. Okay, you did everything by yourself, but it's only because your parents brought you. You see, my father, yesterday, I said, I must call and talk to my father because my father selflessly, with his $3.75, and then they went to $4.25. He was able to work that minimum wage and bring 10 children in America, brought strangers to America, brought his grandchildren to America. And these 10 children multiplied and brought about 30 children to him. No, 30 grandchildren. 30 grandchildren to this man. More than that, but I'm talking about America specifically. We don't take them for granted. I don't take my father for granted. There's been times when people said, oh, your father said this about you. Oh, your father. I said, my father, he can say what he's going to say now. He's got the right to say whatever he wants to say. I can't go face him and say, why did you? No, never. Does that mean if there's something off, I can go say, okay, Dad, this, that. I do that. But in those specific instances, people wanted me to go and be upset with my dad. And I wasn't going to be upset. Even though if he said something negative, it's okay. Are you here with me? Like, it's okay. I can't fight a man his caliber. I can't fight a man this level. I can't, no, you just don't try it. The life he's lived, I haven't lived a quarter. What are you talking about? You go and fight your father on what grounds exactly? There's a part where I said, don't copy people. Number 9, don't copy others. Don't go copying the lifestyle of, I'm going to talk down to people. I will respond to my parents. Please don't copy that. You copy? Copy it. Don't take them for granted. I don't play with them. The spirit of gratitude, number 3, you must have the spirit of gratitude. Be grateful regardless. There are people that were good to me that are no longer the same to me. I am forever indebted to them. They were good to me. I shared the story earlier that my brother-in-law offered to pay my phone bill. All he said was, I'm going to pay the phone bill when you need it. He actually never got to paying the phone bill because I started working. I taught myself to do hair. I taught myself to do so many different things, and I was doing it in college by myself. So I made the money I was afraid I wasn't going to make. Does that make sense? So I needed security, and he offered me security. It don't matter what he does. I will never disgrace him. I will never, no. You must be a person that has a gratitude that is unfeigned, like that cannot be touched. Some of us, people have helped us. And in the name of I'm better than you, we have disgraced the people. We have talked down to the people. We have dishonored the people. You won't catch me dishonoring anybody because I know that honor is a passcode. I know that. Honor is a code. Like you're entering a door, you need to enter. Honor for me is a code. I live a life of honor. And the men of God who have been around me the longest, they know. It's a code. I honor everybody, not just like everybody. If you're an adult, I honor you. If you, even children, I will honor you. Because I don't respect people based on their ranking and their, no. I just have total respect for people. Even when you caught me in those days that I was very off, mentally, I was so off. Even in those days, and I will speak my mind and cuss people out. Those days, I was still mindful, small. Oh, you must have gratitude. Even if the person is no longer in good terms with you, still don't go back and tell. It's like dating a guy. You go back, oh, I dated this guy and he's not good in bed and he's not okay. Look, don't talk about, just leave it. You can talk about things that happen to you to teach people. And I do that a lot. I do. But not in the sense where I'm going to point the name and point and go live and say, oh, this person and that person, that's drama. Where we go and point people out, that's drama. We don't do that. Okay. The spirit of gratitude. Perseverance amidst the storm. Many storms will encounter you. When you go to a new nation, there are demonic and territorial spirits in those nations. Where even if you move from one neighborhood to another, there are demonic entities that don't want you to thrive. And because you have left your people and you're saying, I'm going for greener pastures, many things will fight you. It's normal. Persevere. You may not have a job. You may not have money. You may not have help. You may not persevere because there's something ahead of you. Excellence. I said the spirit of excellence is needed. You must carry the spirit of excellence. The Bible talks about Daniel, that Daniel carried the spirit of excellence. And that is why he received the favors that he received in his lifetime. Don't be good when people are there. Now, when people are not there, you are something else. Thank you, girl. I got a comment on Instagram. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Imported all the way from abroad. Oh my goodness. Thanks for joining. So excellence in everything you do. So you can't necessarily just, do what everybody is doing. You must be more excellent. And I mentioned in the last video, this is part 2, the part 1, I mentioned that because anytime you try to speak, when you come to a foreign nation, specifically America, when you come to a foreign nation, they're going to say you have an accent, you have this, so many things against you. So you must be more excellent. because there are things that are already playing against you. Okay? All right. Give it your all. So don't stay in your culture or your circle. Many of us, maybe we come from Ghana. We want to stay with the Ghanaians. We come from Ivory Coast. We want to stay with the Ivorians. Luckily for me, when I got to the Bronx, I didn't know where the Ivorians were. I'm being honest with you. That is how I lost my French, because I didn't know where the Ivorians were. I didn't go looking for them. We were quickly engulfed by the Ghanaians. And me too, I loved it because that was the side of me I didn't know, is Ghana. So I was very preoccupied and I was very crazy about, being amongst Ghanaians. Thank goodness I quickly also diversified myself. Yeah, I'm talking like it's a portfolio, because that is how your finances will also shift. Yes. So I didn't stay in my circle alone. I'm not saying that there's a level where people pretend they're not Africans. I'm not talking about that. And act like I don't like to be around Black people. I don't like to be, and you are blacker than me. Oh, I don't like to. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying go and now you want to only be with Caucasians. No, that one too is sickness. I'm talking about hanging out with your crew, but allowing yourself to meet people from other cultures, because the world is a globe, obviously, and the globe is a melting pot. That means there's a bit of me in someone, a bit of someone in me, and we are all meshed together. So I want to see the pieces of me that are missing. So sometimes you encounter someone that brings out the other side of you. So you must be willing to encounter and meet other people that can offer you something different. Okay? So don't stick to your culture alone. Some people come, oh, I only want to be around Ghanaians. That is a huge detriment to you. Do not stay in your circle alone. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. Yesterday, I sent a message to my brother and, jokingly, he said, oh my gosh, what did it? Because I came here with my brother, who is the male version of me. And, I randomly, I was like, I sent it and he said, where did the time go? And you know what I replied him? I responded to him that we spent half the time fighting. It was a joke. I hope he caught the joke. Okay, I'm sure you didn't find that funny, but listen, I said we spent half the time fighting. Where are the people? I'm not seeing you guys here. Share the broadcast. I know it's blessing someone, so share it. I said we spent half the time fighting because guess what? We spent half the time fighting. Don't waste time. I've been here for 25 years, and for the better 15 years of my life, all I remember is we sat down, talk about your sister did this, your brother did this person did that. I mean, the whole 9 years. Come on, guys. By the time I learned better, I was already 30 something years old. I think I was like 35 years old or 34. I kid you not. It's just, within the last 5 years that, I have shifted from that completely. I mean, so much drama. So number 24 says, so I already said number 24. Don't think I'm wasting time. I'm saying everything. Okay. Be drama free is number 24. I said we spend half the time fighting. Don't waste time fighting. Listen, there are people that have decided to misunderstand you. Allow them to misunderstand you. If you try to explain and they don't listen, it's okay. Don't try to prove a point and fight. And you know what? We've spent time fighting back and forth. He said, she said, he said, she said, and all of the years just like that. 1 minute, I was 12 years old. I was 14 years old. The next minute I blinked, I was 25. And then I was 25 and I thought, oh, I'm just 25 years old. I blinked and I was 30. I looked around again and I turned 35. I'm looking around and I'm going to go to 40. Huh? No. Don't waste time. Don't waste time in the wrong jobs. Don't waste time in the wrong majors. Don't waste time trying to convince the wrong friends that you love them. Don't waste time in marriage. Don't waste time in any relationship. Don't waste time. Just don't waste time. There's a place I talk about. Number 19, don't waste your time partying your life away. Don't waste your time partying your life away. One thing I learned living in New York City, the one thing New York is, it can be trusted on, is that the Ghanaians there know how to put on parties, and they also know how to do funerals. So the funeral has been turned into a party. I'm sure that's all over the place, but specifically within our culture, we love parties where you dress up more expensive than the person who's throwing the party. And I say that because it's their special day. So if the birthday person says, I want to spend $500 on my dress, you too that is going to visit, you're going to spend $500. We wasted time partying. Yes, life. I mean, you only got one life to live. Don't waste your time partying, because you quickly find out, yes, the one life you have to live, you need that life to continue the journey. It's the same life you will need at 40 and 50 and 60. So don't waste the life in your 20s and 30s and turn around and say it's only one life to live. And then when you are 40, you have nothing to show for. There's no proof that you were here. There's no proof that you had opportunities. Don't waste your time with the wrong friends. Don't waste your time sitting there gossiping. Don't waste your time. He said, she said. If somebody comes and say, he said, she said, I'm sorry. It was a misunderstanding. Pack them and go somewhere else. Don't try to get in the middle. Some of you just love drama. Let me explain. I will make a video and I'm going to come and talk about the thing that happened. Why? Truth needs no explanation. Truth requires no explanation. Where we are going is too far. You can't stop everywhere to clarify rumors. What you heard, please take it, because I won't have time to explain. If you keep stopping along the way, you're wasting your time. No, but this is what they think of me. Please think that you're okay. This is your brain. It's not my brain. Keep that junk in your brain. I'm fine with it. I wasted time. 25 years. I'm telling you, 15 years I can't recall. The one thing I can recall in the 15 years was the drama. Left, right, center, family, friends. And when friends can see that your family is not together, they come and create a havoc. And in my family, there was a havoc because the friends saw. See, the friends wanted to take your sister as their best friend. They wanted a sister. They never had a sister like yours. So they wanted to come and take your sister. So they told a lie to get closer to her. And that lie made the sister hate you. Make the brother hate you. But the friend was just looking for somebody like you. And families like ours were not, you can't find, there's not another family I can think of like ours that specifically lived in the Bronx. Do you understand that? And those who knew us, they know what I'm talking about. Because when we came to a party, we came as a mass. When we left, everybody knew the party was over. Because we helped with food, we danced, we were there, we were present, we were supportive. And outsiders who didn't have that, instead of coming alongside, destroyed and wanted to break it. So one of the things I say, one of the lessons, it's something about family. I don't know what number, but the lesson is that you must build your family. That's a number. So I'm not wasting time. I'm doing the new and the old all together. You must build your family. So I'll get there. Don't waste time on anything. Number 8, be bold to make life decisions. Boldness, I'm going to tell you. And you see, what's boldness? God gives you the grace and you develop boldness. Boldness for you to be able to do what God has called you to do is what you need. In 2013, September 24th, this month is so special for me. Wow, I didn't even realize it was all in the same month. September 24th, 2013, my husband and I decided we're moving to Delaware from New York City. And everybody, family, friends, co-workers, my boss at work even, took it personal. I mean, everybody took it personal. You did? And as we were praying for direction, we didn't hear a loud sound, go. God didn't come and say, go. We didn't hear confirmation, no. Do you know what we heard? Peace. There was peace in our spirit. There was peace within us to go. Peace. I'll do a video talking about peace is a compass. That came to me yesterday. Peace is a compass, a compass. I'll talk about that. We had peace. As much as everything was against us, we knew we had to move to Delaware. When God told the people of Israel, I'm taking you to a land that is flowing with milk and honey, they don't know what the land looks like. They just know there's a land. They don't know what it looks like. But before they get to the land, they must go through the wilderness. We knew that was better. I had lived in New York City most of my life. Then I went to the university outside of New York City. When I was going away to school, bless my late mother. But the woman she loved people so much that sometimes people were able to just take advantage and come and say things to her that were not true. And because she wanted the best for her children, if somebody said, oh, I saw your daughter, she was standing over there, my mom will come with fire. Listen, the woman carried fire. And I believe she left me the fire. She left me that energy, that strength, that power, that boldness. She was also bold in her own right, though. You couldn't get this woman to do anything she didn't want to do. Yeah. And it's funny because when she was alive, I didn't know we were so similar until she passed away. That's why we have to be careful. We don't take people for granted. I never knew we're this similar until she passed away. But she would come with fire. And so when I got into the school I went to, I didn't know I was going to get into the school because everybody's like, the school is so big and it's so this, and the school is, like it takes a lot to get into the school. But I got in and I was accepted. And my mother said, why do you can't go? Because all the people that go to school, they go and get pregnant and come back. What did I say? Don't stay in your circle. Some of you parents, you don't want your children to go away for school. You are just afraid. When you raise your kids, the way you know the kids, you raise them well, is when they go away from you. Because them kids can have two lives, okay? The kids are two-faced. Sometimes I tell my daughter, you are two-faced. You are nice around us. You are not nice sometimes. I tell her, you are not very nice in some cases. Because it's true. The kids, they behave one way. When you are not there, they are different. They put on like a mask and they behave another way. But long story short, she said, I don't want you to go away to college. Hey. Because somebody came and told them, if your child goes away, they're going to mess up and blah, 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 blah. But from day one, the boldness she gave me, I used it. You know, she gave me that boldness. She was the mother. I copied it from her. I got it from her. And you know what? I use that boldness to this day. And this boldness has saved me from a lot of woes. Saved me from manipulation, saved me from abuse, saved me from many things. You must be bold to make life decisions. That's a lesson I learned. Number 8. You must be bold. We were bold enough to say everything is against us going. We don't even have money. We didn't even have $10. I'm not exaggerating. We didn't have $10 to our name when we were moving, because the money we had, we used it for U-Haul. The U-Haul was $300. It was actually a Penske. A Penske. It was $300. So because we didn't have money, it's like, it doesn't make sense. Why are you just going to get up and go somewhere? You don't have money. You don't have anything. All we had was a place to stay. My sister was offering us a place to stay. We didn't have a car. Oh, no, we had a car, but the car was an older car, which that's another story. You have to listen to those old videos. We had a car, but the car broke down. So that's what I mean. Like, we didn't have a car, but we had a car. It broke down on the way going, because we skipped the wilderness, but there was Jordan waiting for us. So the wilderness was being in New York, trying to get out, and it was so hard to get out, but we finally got out. But Jordan was still there waiting for us. We encountered Jordan and we jumped over. Why? Because we took the first step, which was move out of your comfort zone. There are people living in cities that, listen, because the city is convenient. New York, you don't need a car. You can take a bus, a train. I lived there. I love New York. But you couldn't pay me $500,000 to go live there right now. You just couldn't. Replace my income, I still won't go. Tell me don't work, I'll pay you free. I won't go. I'm sorry to say it this way, okay? No offense to anybody whatsoever, but I can't go there because my spirit has left the place. I don't belong in the place. Some people can still be there. It's not for everybody. What I'm saying is, for me specifically, that wasn't the place for me. Your location is crucial to your success in America. It's connected. So if you're not bold, you will say, I want to go to become a doctor. They will tell you, no, go and be a nurse. Number 22, nursing is not the only profession that makes money. You see, I'm finishing the thing. Okay, nursing is not the only profession that makes money. That's a lesson for you to learn when you come to America. Don't let nobody push you into nursing. If nursing is what God is calling you to do, do it. Nursing is not, don't do it. I won't say much there. But if you haven't read my book, Who She Is, I share my nursing journey and my nursing story there. Why? Because somebody told me I should be a nurse. So I went and started being a nurse. And you will hear this many times everywhere. Nursing, 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 nursing. Nursing is not the only profession. We are finishing. You see, I'm coming, the bottom is coming to me, the top. And we'll be done. Be bold, or you will make no decision. Do what you know God is telling you to do. Just do it. Don't be afraid to make choices. Because if you make a mistake, you will learn. Unless, of course, it's clear that this decision is bad for you. You understand what I'm saying? Like me, I'm only that bold when I know that this decision, he said there's a land of milk and honey. And I knew that my honey wasn't flowing in New York. So when he said move, we moved. So you will hear it. Don't copy others. The reason you don't copy others is because they may have a different test. If you have test A and somebody has test B, if you go and copy, you're going to fail. So in copying someone, you will fail because you don't have the same test. Your journey is different. Although we are all in America, our journey, listen, my dad brought 10 kids. I could tell you my journey is different. Okay? My journey is totally different. I have some siblings whose journeys mimicked or like look like mine, but my journey is unique. Your journey is unique. That is why you have to be open-minded so you see the uniqueness and what you're being called to do. So don't copy others. The reason people bring their kids and they get so bad is because the kids go to school and go copy what their other friends are doing. Parents, adults, copy what others are doing. You're an adult, for goodness sake. Oh, my friend bought a bag. Let me go and buy a bag too. My friend bought a shoe. Let me go. It's Louis Vuitton. I'll go buy it too. Don't copy others. Because that person, see, I always tell people, I have student loans. I had student loans, okay? I had student loans, almost 200,000, right? 165,000 to be exact. They were not always 164 point blah, 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 to make it 165. They were not always that amount. There were 30,000, 40,000, and then they grew. They grew and came to 164 point blah, blah, blah. So 165,000. And I can tell you, people will buy things that are expensive and I will tell them, I have student loans. It's not a disgrace. I'm saying you didn't go to school to owe. Do you understand? If somebody didn't go to school to owe, how are you copying their lifestyle? You don't owe the money I owe. So I'm not going to come over here and try to compare and wear the clothes you're wearing. No, feel free. Buy $1,000 bag, buy $1,000 shoe, do whatever you want. So number 19, number 20, don't keep up with the Joneses. See, I came from the bottom. I'm at 20, but I've already done 10. Do you get it? So we only have 10 more left in the middle. So don't keep up with the Joneses. You don't know what the person, you don't know. Just don't keep up with them. I already gave the example. I have student loans. So I'm paying student loans that are $700, $800 a month. I cannot buy the bag you are buying because I have student loans. Do you understand? I can't keep up with you. Keep going the way you're going. But I cut my coat according to my size. I don't make it any bigger. I don't make it any smaller. Maybe a little smaller. My husband says I'm cheap. So maybe just a little smaller. But I don't cut my coat, bigger than I'm supposed to. Okay? So that was number 9. Number 10. And I did all these 10 already this morning. It's taking me 15 minutes to do what I did this morning. Lord, help your daughter. Help your daughter. Be willing to unlearn and relearn new things. And I wrote it because I didn't want to be blabbing too much. So I wrote it just to follow. And now look at me. Be willing to unlearn and relearn new things. Listen, back home, things like you will see our mothers, they were always in the kitchen cooking. My mother, this woman will cook for the whole neighborhood if you allow her. All she wanted to do was take care of people. So she will cook and cook and cook and cook and do. You see, here in America, if you expect your wife to be cooking the way we cook back home, it's unbearable. It's a burden. No, really, it's a burden. Unlearn some of these cultural expectations and relearn that we live in a different setting. So, in other words, the woman cannot be the one taking care of the kids because the woman is working in the morning. Maybe you work at night. So when you are home in the morning, you should be taking the kids to the bus stop. Are you hearing me? Okay. So we work together. Back home, not so much. Because if you even work, you are able to, get somebody to help you. I wish I was in Ghana. You listen, I will probably have at least 3-4 maids to help me with everything I have to do on a daily. I'm serious. I will definitely have someone because even here, I had help and I'm getting help and I want to get more help. So the reality is there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. So there are people that can help you. Let them help you. There's a lot to do. But as a spouse, the reason marriages break in America is because the husband comes and he thinks that things should be the way it's back home. The wife comes and she thinks it should be like back home. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to do anything. Oh, the man will do everything. And no, if you let your husband do anything, you will learn a hard lesson. You let him do everything, you will learn a tough lesson. Oh. It doesn't work in America. I'm serious. It doesn't. Let's be real. It doesn't work here. And as a man, when you come here, unlearn that the woman cannot be pounding fufu every day for you. She can come and warm the food, and she may cook. I don't have a problem you expecting a wife to always be, make sure there's food at home, but maybe the food is in the fridge. You will have to go and warm the food yourself, because maybe she's gone to work, maybe she's sleeping from work, maybe she's doing other things. You have to be flexible and unlearn some of these expectations and learn what works for you and your spouse. You are a partnership. You are a unit. Don't wear out your wife in the name of give me, give me, give. Don't wear her out. Here, we can't expect women to be the ones to take care of children. We cannot. Listen, I have a brother and a brother-in-law who, they are known for taking care of their kids. These people, I say my hat's off to them. My brother took care of his kids so well. He kept them during the day. The guy did everything. He did everything. The wife has what she does too. They're working together. My brother-in-law, he took care of the kids. He was always bathing them, taking care of them, taking them to school, doing their homework. Because it's a shared affair. The expectations is what works for the both of you. Your schedules. There's so many things you have to put together. And then there's church, then there's this, then you have to put everything together. Their schedules to go play ball. You have to go and pick them up. It can't just be the wife. It can't just be the husband alone. Both of you, do your part to make the family stand. So be willing to unlearn. When you come to America, know that there are things you learn that may not all be correct. It's true. And then also know that there are things here that you don't have to learn. But be willing to unlearn the negativity and learn things that will help you. That's what I mean by that. Some of us, maybe you came from a home that was broken, that was divorced. Unlearn some of those issues and now learn how to be a better spouse. You see? So that applies for the couples as well. Now, integrity, number 11. So now we are starting the new one. This is part 1, 2. Integrity. Do the right thing all the time, even if nobody's watching it, especially at work. Sometimes you will hear stories of you bring somebody into your job and the person you brought to your job is the one that makes sure that you are fired. That's just demonic. Because sometimes you want to help somebody. You bring them into your job, and when you bring them, they find a way. They're talking about you, telling you the bosses things. So do the right thing all the time. There are people that will say, "Can you punch me in? I'm almost there." Can you? Don't punch in anybody. Here in America, we don't punch in people. If the person is not at work, don't punch them in. Did you hear that? If the person is not at work, don't punch them in. Do the right thing all the time. If nobody's watching, still do it. They come and tell you, hey, 419, there's money in it. There's money in it. Oh, look. And then you see people, they have money, they have cars, they have you too. You're like, oh, you want fast. America, there's quick life. America, things are not that quick. Don't let nobody come tell you, oh, it's so quick. You can become rich overnight. And it's not true. It's the process for everything. And so is Africa and other parts of the world and Europe. Everything is a process. What you sustain is what you actually work for. What you go through the process for is what will last. Some of us, we get success quickly and we end up failing and losing because we got it too quickly. We didn't get a chance to be prepared. Everything you go through is a preparation for you. So have integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing at all times, even if nobody's watching. Be honest. Because everybody will do it and get away with it. But the day you go and smuggle drugs, that's the day they will catch you. Because some of us, we can't just do bad things. We just can't. Everybody will go and cheat. The day you, the day you decide to also go cheat is the day they will catch you. So do the right thing all the time. Make the right choices all the time. Focus on your family. I mentioned that already. Oh no, number 12. Pursue God with all your might. See, when you come to America and you put God on the side, your life will be put on the side too. I'm telling you. Pursue God. Why am I saying this? Because many of us back home, and I know this firsthand, that back home, worshiping God back home is different. Oh, listen, where you travel a mile, the distance, the traffic, even if you have like only a few outfits, you still go to church and you serve and you here. The way the hustle will hit you, you might not even bother with church. It's true, you might not bother. And I'm saying this because in 25 years, I've seen pastors even come to America and stop being pastors. I say pastors because they were called and they were in action. They were already operating in function. So not in a demeaning way, but that level where they were already in operation back home, who have come, who now are not actually pastors or even in church. So that's what I'm saying, that pursue God with your all. I don't even know how many examples I should give about that. Pursue God. Don't make God secondary. If you're going to church every Sunday, find a church and go. Sometimes because of drama, we try to avoid, churches and those things. It says fellowship. Fellowshipping, it can bring problem too. And it happens. You will find out church in America can be very troublesome sometimes. And so what you do is you find a place of worship that believes what you believe and the word, the unadulterated word of the Lord. Okay. You find a place like that and you worship in spirit and you worship in truth. Even if you're just going just for going sake, because not everybody is able to actually serve in church and give that extra time. So whatever you can do it when you are there and be of use to the body of Christ. That is all. Okay? So pursue God. Don't leave that aside. Number 13, focus on your family. You see, foreigners, we have a serious work ethic. Everybody knows this. Americans know this. They may even joke about it. Foreigners are, their work ethic is good. We are hard workers. We really are. But in the same token, in the name of hard working, okay, I'll tell you what. We have nurses that come to our home. Okay, we have nurses who take care of our child. And I can tell you one thing, that the nurses, the African nurses, they are worked up. When the African nurses come to work here, what I will tell you is that they are the most tired. It's the truth. We've told them many times that you guys are too tired. Why? Because they're always coming from another shift. African nurses, they are always coming from another shift. There are some that only do their 3 days and they are done as nurses. The majority of African nurses work more than 3 days. So if you work Monday to Friday, you should be doing 8 hours. But no, Monday to Friday, morning, then night, morning, then night. So when you get to my shift, you are sleeping in my house. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm not saying all, I'm saying most. Several times in my life, I always had 2 jobs. It's now that things are different. When I was younger, when I was 14, 13, 14, when I was in my 20s, I used to work 70, 80 hours a week. So I'm not saying that in disgrace. I'm saying that to say that's our lifestyle. That's what we do. We overwork. It's not that I work from home, so I'm just like, it's more relaxed and I'm just chilling. Small. I'm not chilling a lot, just small. Not a lot, just small. But African nurses are always tired just because. And I understand why they are working. The money just really isn't enough sometimes. It just isn't enough. You may have 2 jobs, and because you have a mouth to feed, maybe you're even single. And so I get it. Like, I'm not here telling you don't do double jobs when I did double jobs most of my 25 years of being in America. At least a good 10 years of that portion, I was working 2 jobs. It's the reality. But when you work too much, you neglect your family. It's true. You're too tired. You can't do both. Taking care of a family is a full-time job. We are working for these children that will go wayward. Did you hear what I said? We are working. I will come back here and I will do a series on parenting. I think I've said that twice. Hold me to it, because I need to come back and do a series on parenting. We are working so hard for the same children that will go wayward. Why? Because nobody is there taking care of the kids. Nobody's there spending time with them. Nobody's there teaching them. Nobody, because we are overworked and overtired. It's the truth. And although I understand why you're working so much, if you don't pause some of that work, what will happen? What will happen is you will turn around and your child will be doing something you don't know. Me that I'm home every day, the child can do something. I'm like, when did this child do this? I don't even know. So imagine somebody who's out there doing double shifts. So the ideal thing when you have younger children is to go to work when the children are at school. Not everybody can do that. And I know this firsthand because my husband had to work nights for many years. Many years. It was rough because you work at night and during the day you are sleeping. It's rough. It's the reality. So you want to be that person who, cut your coat small so that you can save a little bit of the hassle, because you everything is too expensive. Your car, your this, your that. And then our money is not just our money. When you come as a foreigner, your money is for you and the people back in that country again. I have Jamaican friends, it's the same thing. I have Hispanic friends, it's the same thing. Their money has to go back to South America. The money has to go back to Ivory Coast. The money has to go back to Ghana. The money has to go back. I'm not seeing anybody. Are you guys here? Your money is not for you alone. I don't know what my word is. The money is not for you alone. And I understand that because you have so many mouths to feed. So I don't say that they are tired in disgrace, but I'm saying they are tired because they are overworked. That's their work ethic. And they are working more because you need the money. Things are expensive. So I don't give them a hard time. I'm going to be honest. I don't give them a hard time. If you have to close your eyes a little bit, okay, fine. Fine. I see you. I know it's fine. We're not that uptight that we're like, oh, why are you saying? No. At least don't sleep the whole shift. Can we at least do that? Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. Our lifestyles are different. Those that may not be African, they are working, the money's for them. Because Americans are individualistic. Thank you for being here. Share it with someone. You know, Americans are individualistic. Their money is their money. They don't take their money and take it to their father, mother, and there are people that also help their parents. Like I know people that are working to help their parents here in America. But what I'm saying is that it's the demand is not as it's not as foreigners. Because foreigners, we were given an opportunity for a brighter future, for greener pastures. And we're not talking about people are better off back. Yes, many people are better off. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the people that traveled. And that's who we're talking about right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? And those people have to encounter and go through some of these situations. Okay. We're sharing the broadcast, right? Keep sharing the broadcast. All right. So I'm wrapping up. Because I've talked for at least an hour. So I'm wrapping up. Maybe in 10 minutes we'll close. Again, focus on your family, not just work. You work, and sometimes you have nothing to show for. So please focus on your family as well. All right. Don't be too rigid. There are people that are rigid. This is number 14. We've already done the bottom, so we only have a few more left. Don't be too rigid. Oh, in Africa, this is what we do, and that's how I'm going to do it, and I don't care, it's American. Don't be too rigid. Just relax some. Allow yourself to learn. You don't have to be indoctrinated, but you do have to at least be part of the melting pot. You have to blend in small. Blend in small. And the reason I said don't be too rigid, that's why number 15 says you cannot abuse children in America and get away with it. The law is in operation here. I have to remind people of that. You cannot abuse your children and you get away with it. The law works. You may say, but some laws don't work but you'll be surprised which law they will make it work. So when I was a CPS worker, a child protective specialist in New York City, we will go and remove children from homes of Africans that will beat their children. Hey, it's me that brought you in this country, and you cannot behave like this, and beat them and beat them and beat them. I remember one family I had, I said, look, I know, me too, they beat me when I was small. But what I'm telling you is, this America, if you keep beating your children, you will get yourself in jail. You will get arrested. You will get a case. ACS will come to your house. Don't beat your children. I mean, am I saying don't hate your children? You can hate your kids. No excessive corporal punishment. That's the language. Tell them a CPS worker told you. No excessive corporal punishment. That means you can hit a child, but you can't punch a child. You can't hit them in their belly. You can't smack them. You can't. Those things you can't do. Take a belt, whip them, whip them, whip them. You can't whip a child into submission. That child, you're just beating them. They will go and do something else. We don't whip children into submission. We correct them, we discipline them, we show them what they're supposed to do. That is what discipline is about, is teaching. But you can't whip them into submission. It comes from teaching them little by little, teaching them, showing them, blah, 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 little by little. Teaching them, showing them, little by little. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you're not there when they are little, when they become teenagers, that's when you want to bring them, tell them, hey, I'm your father. Where were you? The first 10 years we were here. No, where were you? The past 15 years. When mommy was struggling up and down the street, where were you? That you're showing up as a father now. You can't do that. You can't beat up your children. You will get yourself in trouble. And I have African families that I had to talk to and guide them through the process because they ended up in trouble. And now they're calling me, oh, Ruth, can you believe what happened? Now I have to walk them through the process and say, look, everything they tell you, say yes. Say yes, because you have messed up your story. So everything they tell you, say yes. That will help your case. Say yes. Talk to them, go through it. Believe that mental health is real. Allow yourself those, step by step. What number are we at? Number 16. And let me go back to the abuse. The reason I'm saying the abuse, if you play to not just physically, but sexually come trying to assault a child, you will get yourself in trouble. You will go to jail. Even if it's 18 years, the person can, you cannot sexually assault. Sometimes you have an uncle living with you, you have somebody, a cousin or something, and then they are there abusing the children. Abusing the children. Don't get yourself in trouble. Culturally, there are boundaries that are very unclear. Please, try your best to pray against those things if those urges are there. When I was 14 years old, again, in New York City, there was a neighbor who was trying to get at me, an African man. Yes. And maybe he thought it's normal or something. I said, no, here you can't do that. You can't do that. Am I saying is the law elsewhere to do that? No, everywhere is not allowed. But what happens, people do it and they get away with it. So I'm saying that here, you can't get away with it. So stay away from those things. Make sure to get help for the issues you're facing. Mental health is real. Get help. If you're stressed, depressed, back home, maybe we don't really spend time with depression, anxiety. It's not really a big deal. But then you come here. And when you come here, you begin to experience those things and blah, blah, blah. And then you tell yourself, it's nothing. It's nothing. And then you are showing anger, or you are showing, you're misbehaving, or maybe you are going around cheating, doing things, because all those things are signs of trauma. All those things. When there's too much pressure, you just begin to do you get addicted, you're smoking, you're drinking, get help. Get help. When you are in need of help, get help. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go, sometimes like, oh, let me go and I'm going to go tell my pastor what I'm going through and I will go over it. Yes, there's a place for that. But when you have mental health issue, get help. Get a counselor. Work on your mind so you can overcome some of these things. So make sure you get help. When your child is going through a situation, get help for them. Maybe your child needs therapy. I know we don't believe in it, but get help for your child so that they don't go wayward. Become resourceful. What I'm saying is learn what is what. When I was younger, there was something I used to always hear. Oh, when you can't do immigration things because when you're doing immigration, and you have to go and use food stamps or something like that. You can't do papers for people. And I'm like, this is the Department of Health or whatever, social services. And then this is Department of Immigration. They are not crossed anywhere. They don't meet in the middle anywhere. But you sit there, people tell you, you need help. Your family needs food to eat. Go get food stamps and eat it. Be resourceful. Become resourceful. I'm not saying this because I was on food stamps. That's not what I'm saying it. But as a social worker who was helping people that needed it, I learned many things through the process. And one of the things I learned is that there is nothing wrong to get government help if the help is there. Now, if you abuse the system, they will be waiting for you to. I'm not talking about abusing the system. I'm talking about legitimately. You need food to eat. Your children, you're suffering. And your circle is telling you, hey, don't do it. Because if you go and get food stamp, you won't be able to do anything in this country. That's why I grew up with hearing this all. So when it came to the point where me and my husband lost our jobs, I'm telling you the truth. I'm being transparent here. I'm not saying all of these things to knock anybody. I'm saying it as a teaching moment. When it came to the point where me and my husband and I were jobless. I know. Sometimes you don't look it. You don't even smell it. You don't look it, you don't smell it. But when the time came and we both were jobless, it was difficult. And when we finally got the guts to go and ask for help, they said, oh, you people don't qualify. I can't get into that story. I can't even get into the story. Okay? There is genuine help. In fact, the reason we had such a difficulty getting help is because when they asked us, when's the last time you worked? We said about 8 months ago. They were like, no. You haven't worked for 8 months and you didn't come for food stamp? No. They didn't believe us. 8 months here in America, you're not working at all. Your husband, they didn't believe it. And so they did not give us the stuff we needed. Get help if you need help. Become resourceful. There's a lot of free things in America. Even though there's a lot of things that are not free, it's true. There's also a lot of things that are free. So please get the help you need when you need it. Become resourceful of things that are available to you. Make friends who share your values. If you go make the wrong friends, you'll be in trouble. Half of the issues I feel like I encountered, even with my family, it was all friends. Friends who had no wisdom, friends who were not born again. Trust me, they were not born again, because you cannot be born again and be going meddling in people's business like the way you meddled in our family businesses. No, you're not born again. Because it says there are things that God hates. It says there are 3 things that God hates, right? Is it 7 things? And it says that one who sows discord amidst brethren. If you know the Bible, you won't sow discord. So make friends who share your value so that they can help you in your direction to where you are going. And I talked about don't waste your time partying. I thought don't keep up with the Joneses. Don't make America your final destination. Number 21. Don't make America your final destination. Many have come to America as immigrants and have made America their final destination and don't want to go back to their country. Don't do it. Yes, there's a place for those who are not able to go. I understand. It's a legal issue, legal matter. I get it. But for those who are able, like myself, to go, come, travel, do all those things, don't make America your final destination. It is not. You came for an opportunity to go back. You owe it to your country, your nation, your family, people to go back and give back. That is what the world is about. Everybody has a mission, and this is part of your mission, is to make sure you add to your community. You play a piece of the puzzle. You add a piece of the puzzle to your community. So don't come here and say, me, I will never go to Ghana. And then you sit here, you don't build one window, let alone build a room. And eat all your money here. And never go back to give back. If you don't go, make sure your money is going. Make sure something is going. In the meantime, until you are able to go, then you go back and give. You know, when I came from Ivory Coast to New York City, my parents brought me, I didn't know how poor we were. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know how poor we were because my parents made sure that we were okay. Yeah, there were times we didn't have money for uniform. There were times we didn't have money for school. I know. But I didn't even realize we were this poor until I came here. So once I came and I saw how poor we were, I knew there was something greater for me. So I made it my life's mission to go every year. And I will go every year and I will give. And I started giving. I started giving before Women of Value started. So when the Lord told me about Women of Value and I started Women of Value, you know, he said, start something for women. He didn't give me the name. Somebody else gave me the name. Right? So when Women of Value started, I just added what I was already doing into Women of Value. And I began to do donations every time I go to Ghana. Every time. It doesn't fail. I can be going for a vacation like I did a month ago. It was a quick one. Okay. It was a quick one. Okay. It was just a rest. It wasn't vacation. It was like rest. I didn't go to work. I didn't go to do anything. Just rest. And what I will tell you, because I needed that rest so bad, I did. What I will tell you is that as I go back, the more I go back, the more I want to go back again. Like I already have my next date I'm going. The more I want to go back again because I see the need. I see where I can be of use. Make yourself useful to your nation. Okay? I'm done. America is not your final destination. Nursing is not the only profession. Explore America and travel beyond. What I'm saying is that don't just stay in New York and be stuck. Don't just stay in Delaware and be stuck. Don't just stay in California and be stuck. Travel in America. America has so much to offer. Just travel, go places. You know, I remember I had a friend who we lived in New York City together, but even when I was living there, I was always traveling. I mean, I've been traveling for years. And I would say, you know, those days I'll go to Virginia, I'll go to Maryland, and I'll say, okay, let's go, you know, let's go, you know, going to Atlanta, Georgia, whatever. And I'll say, let's go. She said, oh, they told her that if she gets on there and she doesn't have, you know, any ID with her or passport, they can send her back to Africa. I said, oh, her friends told her if she takes the bus, they will ask her for her passports on the bus. So this woman lived here for 10 years. 10 years, more than 10 years maybe, in America. And never traveled, never left the States. Because they told her they will ask her for a passport instead of an ID. If they don't even ask for ID, the bus we were taking those days to travel, they don't ask for ID. The China bus, you get on and you go, you pay your money and you go. But somebody lied to her. So you must be out there resourceful. Be drama-free. Learn the system. That's the last one. I'm done. Learn the system. America is a system. There are many systems in America. The whole America is one system. And then there are subsystems in America. If you don't learn the system, it won't favor you. You must know the system you're up against. Because everything is a hustle. Everything is almost like warfare. There are powers that be in America, it's clear. Those powers, they are not coming to you for, oh, give me $5 and I will let you go. If the police pulls you over, you're going to get a ticket. There are powers that be, they speak. The power is very evident, it's very clear. So guess what? Bribing on different levels, there is here in America too. Bribing is not small, $5, $10. No, higher levels of bribing. So what am I saying? It's a system. Learn the system. Learn the system and excel in the system. One of the systems that will count against you is credit. Credit is crucial in America. Don't let somebody lie to you. You go and use credit card and now your credit is bad. You can't do nothing. because your credit is bad. It's a system. Let it work for you. Learn the system and rise from it. My credit was 400 because I thought the credit card they gave me was my money. And those of you who were with me in college, you saw how I used it all. I mean, I used the money. When I left college, they were telling me I owe money. I said, what money? I thought the money you gave it to me on the card and I used it. And guess what? My credit was so bad, I couldn't get nothing. I couldn't do nothing. It took the grace of God, again, to relocate. Have a moment of silence to think about my life, get connected to different people, go to credit workshops, get hired for jobs that required me to teach my clients about finances. And that is how I was able to also learn. While I was working, I was learning about finances. That's how I cleared my credit. And then this year in April, by the grace of God, my student loans of almost $164,000. I said 65, right? 164.5, so $165,000 was forgiven by the government. My student loans have been forgiven entirely. So I don't have that on my credit anymore. But what did it take? It took information. It took resource. And my hat's off to the student loan doctor. If you don't follow her, go follow her. The student loan doctor, she gave out all the free information like the way I'm giving you information now. This woman is amazing. God bless her. That is how my student loans were forgiven. Because even though God did it, guess what? It took a person to do that. That's why we don't take people for granted. Because they carry information. So this woman will come live, just like I'm doing live. Maybe it's not a lot of people. She's live. She's sharing. She's talking. She's sharing. And I sat there and I listened and I listened. And she said, do this and do that and do this and do that. And I did it. And when she will ask for money to pay for something small, I will do it too. I will pay a little bit and I will do. Because she was helping me. Because she was helping me, I was willing to pay for her courses. Because she was helping me, I was willing to do whatever it took. Even if it's one session with her, it was useful. There are people God has assigned that are there to shift you to your next dimension. If my $165,000 was forgiven, it's because of the grace of God. But God allowed that person, use them as a vessel to shift me. And I've been saying, I want my credit to go to 800. The maximum is 850. I want my credit to go to 800. And just like that, I entered 800, just like that. Just like that. Because God made a way and used a human to do that. That's why we don't take people for granted. We don't dismiss people. Maybe I'm sure she was just on here doing live like me, thinking, oh, nobody's here. I'm just doing live. I'm just doing live. But she helped me. And that is why she doesn't personally know me. When I message, she knows me, but she doesn't personally know me. But she was a blessing to my life. And that is how. And when I found the information, I shared it with people. Those who listened, they were blessed. They also had their student loans forgiven. So in America, that is how it works. I am so grateful to my father who listened to the voice of God. When everybody was telling my father, I'm done, I'm wrapping up. When everybody was telling my father, don't bring your children to America, I'm grateful to my father that he didn't listen to his friends, but he listened to the voice of God. And he brought 10 children to America, including grandchildren. And so we also have a chance at the American dream. Yes, the American dream is a myth, can be a myth, in the sense that you might look and you might not prosper. No, we're not walking on streets of gold. But America gives you opportunities that we normally wouldn't have in the countries we came from, is the truth. In America, despite your color, I'm not bound by racism in America. Racism can't hold me back. There are systems in operation. Learn the system so you jump through the hoops and get through those, and so you can gain favor through the systems. It works. And so thank you for joining me today. I'm super grateful for being here for 25 years. I've learned so many more lessons, but these were the ones that stood out to me. And so I wanted to share with you. So if you have the dream to travel to America, this is the reality. I gave you the raw reality. Okay? I gave you the rawness. I'm not called to lie to anybody. I tell the truth in love. Some people tell the truth, but not in love. They offend people all the time. Not in love. I'm telling you the truth in love because I want you to succeed. And I have been privileged enough to be part of the success stories of many people who maybe came and they didn't know and they encountered. And now their lives have shifted. We're called, this is ministry. Everywhere you stand, you are called to do something. Fulfill God's mandate everywhere you go. For you to gain dominion, for you to multiply, replenish. Listen, in Genesis 1:26, it says what? Be fruitful. I have been fruitful in America. I have been multiplied. I have replenished. Listen, you multiply yourself in people. So the concept of only me, only you want to make 100,000. No, the person who made 6 figures, 120 to 150,000, told me how I can make that money. And because they told me, I went ahead and taught other people and they made the same money. Are you hearing me? That is what we're supposed to do. It's not me, only me, only me. You know, I was listening to somebody who said something a couple of days ago. I was listening to your YouTube video, and the man of God said, he said, you must be comfortable with the fact that God didn't only call you. And I laughed and I called my husband and I shared it with him. He said, you must be comfortable with the fact that God did not only call you for ministry. I said, wow. So you, wherever you are that you have been called, you must do it. Replicate yourself. And the way you replicate yourself is not just in your children. Everybody you encounter, you replicate yourself in them. By teaching them, by showing them, by sharing with them. This information, somebody is charging $200-300 per 30 minutes just to share it. I'm giving it to you for free. I am giving it to you for free because the information is not mine to withhold. Ministry is what you make it. Some of you, God is wanting you to minister to people. You're like, no, I'm not ready. I don't want to do. And this is all part of it. When you meet somebody in need and you help them, that's part of ministry. We must all do our parts. Every single one of us, do your part to do the work of God. And this is the work of God. To feed the hungry, to clothe the orphans, to love those who need love. Love people. Give love even to those that give you hatred. My experience in America cannot be nullified. And now, after 25 years, I have jumped into a new dimension and shifted to another level. And the work, even though it's tough sometimes, and we are still pushing and going. So I hope this blessed you. Share it with somebody who is traveling, who is already here, who needs to shift. Maybe you've been here for 10 years, 20 years, and you have nothing to show for. Listen to this, see where the mistakes came, fix it. It's all about transformation. You must be willing to transform your life to another level. We don't know everything. I don't know everything. So I'm willing to learn if somebody will teach me. You must be willing. Sometimes you've been in marriage 20 years, but you're making mistakes that somebody who's been in 2 years will not make. Listen to that voice. Don't thrive in your, I've been here, I've done this. Don't thrive in that. Be willing to learn, because yes, you came to America before me, but I took a different path. It's the truth. My father came here before me, but my path is completely different. And if my father had my path, trust me, financially, I wouldn't have gone through what I went through. We would have eradicated poverty since the onset. But because he didn't have the opportunity to learn about credit, about investment, he wasn't exposed to those things. So his experience and his life were limited in that area. It's the truth. It was limited in that area. So what we have to do is, even if you're here and you're like, I've been here, but maybe you're doing some things that are just off. They're not correct. Be willing to hear and listen to somebody who took a different path, so that you can fulfill your destiny and fulfill and become successful. Listen, I know someone who doesn't believe in buying a house. I don't want to buy a house. I'm going to keep renting. To this day, that person is still renting. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've been here for 25 and I've known them for maybe at least 20 years. To this day, they're still renting. Am I saying renting is bad? No, I'm not saying renting is bad. What I'm saying is, if he had better information, he would have bought a house by now. Because in 20 years, surely you have given your money out for free. You understand? But because we don't know any better, we think that buying is off. That's the kind of things I'm talking about. Expose yourself to different groups to know. I just came, right before I jumped on here, I had a meeting with somebody. There's a business that I'm trying to start. And, I've been given so many different information. And finally, I met the guru who would charge me probably $10,000 just to tell me what I need to do. But guess what? I'm in front of the right person now. So I will no longer struggle. The person has done it and will keep doing it, and he's just going to show me what to do, and I will do it. So you might pay 5,000, you might pay 10,000, you might pay. We've been doing marriage. Now you in front of a marriage coach, pay the money and let the marriage become what is meant to be. Don't take the long way. Pay the money and shorten it. Yes, America, everything is money too. I didn't give it to you as a lesson, but it is. Anyway, this is where I sign off. You all know I love talking, and I love talking to you specifically. So I can stay here, but I'm going to go off now because there's many things to catch up. And I have some videos I want to record that will come on. There was a message I received this week that it will bless your life. So all those videos will be coming maybe over the weekend sometime. And then we'll find a way to figure out. If you haven't read my book, please don't let me leave without telling you about my book. For those couples that watch me, listen, The Death and Resurrection of Marriage, all things are made new. In that book, there is so much hope, so much grace, so much, I finished the third book, but I'm not going to launch the book for a few months, but the book is finished. I've launched that book already. I've finished, like closed out the book and put it somewhere, but it hasn't officially been launched. Because the right time needs to come so that it can be launched. But I will be here teaching some of the things in the book. I'll be here teaching. There's a parenting series, and people have been asking me do something about parenting, and so I will come back with parenting. I don't know honestly what date, what time, but please, if you send me any advice, I'll take it. But I have to look at everything going on right now that makes everything seem impossible, and then come and teach online. Okay, but we'll be back. Some of you have been watching the same videos over and over again, but we're coming back. We're coming back. Okay, God bless you. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a blessing having you here. I'm going to pause the live. If you didn't watch it, please go back and rewatch it. It will bless your life. Okay. Everybody can have something in it.